Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at the University of California, San Diego. Thank you for coming today to learn about our program. My name is David Guggenheim, and I'm the chair of our advisory council here at Osher. The advisory council's responsibilities are to assist the paid staff in any way that's needed. I'll give you a brief summary of what you'll hear today, and then we'll turn it over to some of our most important volunteers sitting right here. We will tell you how to enroll and then have a Q&A here in the room to answer any questions that you might have. After we adjourn, you'll be able to have one-on-one discussions with some of our members in the lobby. Ask them any questions that you might have and learn about their experiences with Osher. And if you'd like to join, we hope that you will. You'll be able to do so either at the front desk if you want to pay by check or cash, or in the conference room if you want to pay by credit card. And the conference room is the room that's immediately adjoining the lobby here. So, without further ado, we are going to start off with a brief video that tells you a little bit about the founding of the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute. There we go.
OLLI stands for the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, a national network of learning institutions that are the brainchild of Bernard Osher, a businessman, philanthropist, and most importantly, a passionate believer in the enrichment that lifelong learning provides. How did the OLLI network? OLLI stands for the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, a national network of learning institutions that are the brainchild of Bernard Osher, a businessman, philanthropist, and most importantly, a passionate believer in the enrichment that lifelong learning provides. How did the OLLI network first begin? The roots go back to Bernard's childhood. The son of European immigrants, Bernard Osher had a modest upbringing in Maine, where he was taught the importance of giving by his parents. In the Osher home, altruism was a natural part of growing up. As a child, Bernard would spend his after-school time working at the family hardware store, and sometimes amusing himself at Palace Playland in Old Orchard Beach. Little did Bernard know that the innate curiosity and zest for learning that he displayed while he was immersed in these activities would define his career. Blessed with an appreciation for hard work, the value of a good education, and an interest in finance, Bernard became a gifted businessman. He soon was managing the family business as well as Palace Playland, that iconic amusement park on the beach. Talent combined with experience would eventually lead Bernard to New York City, where he worked in investing, and later to California, where, with his sister and her husband, they co-founded World Savings, which became the second largest savings institution in the U.S. Always a supporter of the arts and an avid collector, Bernard would later purchase the San Francisco fine arts auction house Butterfield and Butterfield. The legacies of Bernard and Barbara Osher began to take form in 1977, when he established the Bernard Osher Foundation. They were both already familiar with the Maine Senior College Network and the Fromm Institute in California. Having grown up in Sweden, Mrs. Osher knew of Scandinavian learning initiatives dedicated to third-age citizens, age 60 and beyond. Somewhere along the way, a vision began to blossom. Bernard knew that lifelong learning for older adults would become a key focus of his philanthropy. In 2001, Bernard funded the first Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at the University of Southern Maine. This would be the first of what Bernard intended as a national network of lifelong learning institutes. Since then, his vision has become a reality, with over 120 learning institutes nationwide. The Osher Lifelong Learning Institutes are found on the campuses of colleges and universities from Maine to Hawaii and Alaska. Each provides a distinctive array of non-credit courses and activities specifically developed for seasoned adults aged 50 and better who are interested in learning just for the joy of learning. The network Bernard had imagined is complete. The National Resource Center, based at Northwestern University in Chicago, is well established and will serve as the connective hub for Ollie's long into the future. Bernard is still much like the boy he was in Maine, staying curious, active, and thriving. He started piano lessons at the age of 80 and surfed in Hawaii at 84. And with Mrs. Osher, he enjoys the arts in San Francisco, remains a patron of the opera, symphony, and ballet, and continues to travel near and far. Throughout his life, Bernard Osher has embraced both the joy of giving and the joy of learning. And thanks to the Ollie Network, Bernard has made it possible for hundreds of thousands of adults to experience those same joys. Truly, a legacy for the ages. Work of learning institutions that are the
I'm really not that technically inept, but you know, some of this is a little beyond me. So now that you've learned a little bit about the national program, I'd like to talk about the Osher program here at UCSD. As a matter of fact, this building, we've only been in this building about 6 months. This is a brand new building. These are our 3 beautiful classrooms. And we're so happy that we were able to move into this new structure. There's been a senior learning program at UCSD for 50 years. Back then it was called the Institute for Continued Learning. And in 2003, the program became the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute. Normally we have classes Monday through Thursday, 2 sessions each day from 10 to noon and 1 to 3 p.m. Many times there are multiple classes going on at the same time, and you can choose which one you'd like to attend. For example, we might have a lecture in history here in the main room and a hybrid class, for example, a book discussion in our conference room, or we can divide these 3 rooms up and you can have a hybrid class in one of the rooms and a regular lecture in the other 2. I hope that makes sense. So you have your choice a lot of times of which ones you'd like to attend. Our normal format is a 1-hour lecture followed by a 5 to 10 minute break and then a 50-minute Q&A. Most of our classes are streamed live on Zoom if you're unable or it's inconvenient for you to attend in person. And when you're on Zoom, you can watch the presentation, see what the in-person members see, and ask questions during the Q&A, just the same as if you were in the classroom. Also, our videotape lectures, and they, along with our past lectures, are available online in our video library for you to watch. There's a 1-hour break between the morning and afternoon classes. And many of us bring our lunch or go to one of the several eateries and grab a sandwich or a salad and bring them back and eat here. And at the ground level, you might notice there was the Bird Rock Coffee Roasters that has pastries, sandwiches, and a wood-fired pizza oven. Unlike some of the other Osher programs that have a separate registration and fee per class, our yearly and quarterly fees entitle you to come to every class. Our program is designed for, let me just see, we are, I'm ahead of myself, okay. All right, there we go. Our program is designed for seniors 50 and over, with some of our members close to 100 years old and maybe a few over 100 years old. 65% of our members have advanced degrees. We also have a program called Community Partners, which allows certain retirement communities and senior living centers to view our daily lectures in a community setting via Zoom, and they can also participate via chat in the Q&A. They also have unrestricted access to our online library of previously recorded lectures. And let's see, that's you, okay. Our Osher program is administered by our wonderful paid staff under the auspices of the UCSD Division of Extended Studies. They make sure everything is running smoothly, but many of the functions of our program are undertaken by our many volunteers. I'm now going to turn the podium over to three of those volunteers. Steve Clary is the chair of our curriculum committee and a member of the advisory council. Jeannie Scott is chair of the activities committee and a member of the advisory council. And Courtney Flanagan directs our theater world and improv programs. So without further ado, Steve, over to you.
Thank you, David. Great to see so many of you here today. How many snowbirds do we have here today? Any snowbirds? Well, you be careful. You know, snowbirds turn into shorebirds here in California. It is really great. This is our first winter quarter in this new facility. We're really thrilled to be here, and we thank the university for the continued support that we have. My name is Steve Clary. I have been a member of the Osher Institute for over 15 years. Prior to joining Osher, I was a career naval officer for 30 years and spent 12 years as a shipbuilding executive here in San Diego. As David mentioned, I am the chair of the curriculum committee and oversee the curriculum and program development, a good example of how to fail retirement for the third time. David has already discussed our daily program of classes. Each quarter, the curriculum committee recruits 40 to 50 lecturers from the UCSD faculty, other local universities, community leaders, artists, and musicians. And they engage us typically for 2 hours, both in the morning and the afternoon. The committee also hosts those speakers and produces a marvelous catalog that you all have received a copy of this morning. In addition to the printed copy, the copy of the catalog is also available online. You go to the Osher homepage and you can click on the quarterly catalog. In the catalog and in the online catalog, you'll find a listing of every class, a synopsis of the lecture, and a biography of the speakers. The schedule for the quarter can be conveniently found in the centerfold pages of the catalog, or more important, at the bottom of the homepage, and I'll explain that in a minute. I just want to reiterate what David said. Unlike most Oshers around the country, we do not require separate registration for classes. You pay your membership fee and come whenever you want, and as many times as you want. And that is a different part of our program. Because so many of you are new to Osher today, amazing to see the classroom so full, we're offering next week as a free of charge complimentary peak, where you can come try before you buy, or in my business, fly before you buy. We've given you a schedule for next week's classes, which was part of your handout. And there's no change from the catalog, by the way. I'm now going to briefly discuss some of the winter quarter highlights, certainly not all 50 lectures. The complete program, as I mentioned, is available both in the catalog and online. Among the notable classes this quarter are Wednesday morning classes. We're going to have the history of Spain and its empire from the Islam contest to the modern era by a Professor Andrew Devereaux of the University of California, San Diego. Terrific program. Immigration is certainly in front of everybody's radar these days. And we have a retired professor for emeritus from University of Wisconsin, Brad Barnum, who will be giving a 5-lecture series on the myths and realities of Latin American immigration to the United States. Those are Wednesday mornings, alternating weeks at 10 a.m. We conduct other multi-lecture classes each quarter. We just happen to call them premier classes. We do an art history class every quarter. And then the winter quarter, we'll be talking about the life and art of Vasily Kandinsky, the Russian-born founder of Impressionist painting. Diane Kane, some of you may know Diane. She's an architectural historian, very active city planner here in La Jolla. She is going to give 2 lectures to complete a summer series on architecture and film. And these 2 lectures will talk about the impact of computer and video technology and how it really has changed both fields. Every quarter, we bring scientists from the Scripps Institution of Oceanography, and they will talk to us about some of the active research there. In the winter quarter, we're going to talk about coastal cliff erosion, a hot topic here for those of us in San Diego, and other topics on Thursday afternoons. We're fortunate that Professor Tim Rice, emeritus from UCLA, now living in the V, and he will come and play music from the 1950s and discuss how that music reflected our times, from the disenchantment and protests of the 60s to the impact of immigration in the 70s and 80s. And then, of course, the current wars in Ukraine and Middle East. And he's going to talk about soul, about rock, about reggae, about hip hop. So come enjoy and stomp your feet and get your database updated. In addition to the multi-lecture series each quarter, we hold 4 to 5 lectures within given academic areas of study. And I've shown you some of the highlights here. In arts and humanities, Southwestern College Professor Peter Boland will be here. Peter is engaged with us in a lengthy series of Western philosophers, 2 per quarter. And in this quarter, he's talking about Plato and Aristotle. Last quarter, he talked about Socrates. And he will continue this all the way up to Immanuel Kant. I should mention as an aside that while this is a look at Western philosophers, in the spring quarter, we'll be having a multi-lecture series on the art and culture of Japan, an Eastern culture. History remains one of our most popular subjects across all 125 Oshers that we talked about briefly. 170,000 members, by the way. And each quarter we feature one or more lectures in the area of history. I've already mentioned the one on the Spanish Empire. We have a doctor here. He calls himself a historian in a doctor's body. And Eddie is going to talk about how American history was reflected in famous works of art, American Gothic, crossing of the Appalachians, the Iwo Jima Memorial, and others. And David will be giving, Ed will be giving that on Tuesday afternoons during the winter quarter. Every Monday afternoon, we also have a history seminar, small group discussion, not that small anymore, 25 to 30 people. And they take a book and discuss it every quarter. And this quarter, I'm going to be reading the book called Overthrow, The Century of American Regime Change from Hawaii to Iraq. And like most of our seminars, you don't have to read the book to attend. You just can't say anything. I also forgot to mention in the arts and humanities that every year we bring Andy Friedenberg from the San Diego Cinema Society. Andy is a member of the Academy of Arts and Motion Pictures, and he comes every February and entertains us with a look behind the scenes of Oscar voting. And then we have a ballot of all of the nominees, and he handicaps that along with your participation. He's got a pretty good track record. Anyway, Andy will be here in February to preview the Oscars on the 2nd of March. And international relations is a very popular subject, and we're so blessed to have a long-standing partnership with the School of Global Policy and Strategy here at UC San Diego. And a not-to-be-missed lecture, let me say that again, a not-to-be-missed lecture next Tuesday afternoon. Former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State and a UCSD professor, Susan Shirk, will come talk about China today and the domestic dilemmas created by Xi Jinping during his 3rd term. And most appropriate and important for us is her sort of look ahead to China-US relations under President Trump. So please claim to attend this very distinguished lecture. Another popular lecture series is what we call Law and Society. And in that series, some of our lawyer members of our curriculum committee share with us their personal areas of expertise and recruit significant distinguished speakers from the judiciary and law schools across the country. This quarter, Osher member Michael Lippman, is Michael here today? I don't see him. Michael has 50 years of experience as a trial lawyer, primarily dealing with white-collar crime. Many of his clients are notable, and he's going to come share war stories about some of those trials. Michael will be back in the spring for a multi-lecture primer on prosecution of white-collar crime. Being at the epicenter of biotechnology here in San Diego, we are pleased to invite every quarter members from the medical community here to share their best practices for issues confronting older adults. We also talk about medicine from a scientific research perspective. As you all know, UCSD is typically ranked in the top 50 of medical facilities here in the United States. And next Thursday morning, Dr. Rebecca Shatsky is a breast medical oncology team leader here at UCSD Health, and she will update us on advances in breast cancer diagnosis and treatment for both men and women. Other lectures in this medical series are shown in the catalog. In science and engineering, Dr. Jim Conca, with over 40 years of experience working in the nuclear power and energy industry, will come and discuss with us achieving a scientifically achievable Green New Deal, in which he compares different sources of renewable energy, the pluses and minuses, and what it takes to really achieve an improvement in our global warming situation. Politics and current events, always very popular. Every other Monday morning in this room, we host a program called Inside Politics, moderated by a former judge, Al Korobkin, and a former history English professor, Eileen Koblenz. And this is where you come and be able to give your speeches. But we ask, however, that you do so and show your sophistication of tolerance of differing points of view. Once a year, we're very pleased to bring retired Navy Vice Admiral Charles Martolio to Osher. Charlie is a personal friend and a notable Navy strategic thinker, and he comes to Osher every year and gives his views on American national security. And this year it will be in an era of confrontation and conflict. No more needs to be said. In the social sciences, we feature a number of lectures. I point out one here today. The Jewish Family Services has had an experiment of providing a guaranteed income to 4 different local families here in the area, not families, but groups. And the speaker is going to talk about the results of that particular program. Again, these are just some of the highlights of the individual academic subjects. David mentioned earlier that in addition to lectures by distinguished speakers from the faculty, we also feature small group literature and history discussions, and these are facilitated by Osher member scholars. And again, this is where a member gets to come and talk about, members come and talk about a given book in 4 or 5 sessions. The winter offerings are shown on this slide. We also have a program of short stories discussions, the Osher Book Club, a more traditional read a book and come talk about it. We have a writer's workshop online every Monday afternoon for wannabe or published writers who want to share their experience or critique each other's work. We have every other Monday, we have a memoir group that gathers and shares coffee with friends in the conference room. And again, share some of the memoirs that they are often writing for their families. As a departure from our academic lectures, we also periodically feature interactive workshops on such subjects of personal digital technology like the iPhone, or in this winter quarter on mastering your Apple Watch. Although our mission at Osher is lifelong learning to foster intellectual growth through our lectures and seminars, we also strive to build a community of lifelong learners through group activities and social interaction. 2 of our most popular non-academic programs are our activities chaired by Jeannie Scott and our Theater World by our Theater World director, Courtney Flanagan, and they will follow me to discuss these unique and important parts of our Osher program. A final note on the Osher winter schedule. Maya Punti, whom you will soon meet, our dedicated Osher office manager, works very diligently with her team to keep the online schedule updated. And at the bottom of the Osher homepage is the current schedule. We do not update the catalog once it's printed. So you need to go to the homepage and look on the calendar, and then every Friday, she will produce a schedule for the coming week, which you received today. By the way, the calendar at the bottom of the homepage is linked to the class listing, and if you click on it, you can upload it, the entire calendar, your catalog, filling up your days for the next 3 months. And most important is that Friday email. And David already mentioned, and I will mention in closing, that as a member, you also have access to an online library of video lectures that have been recorded. We started recording way back in 2014. And in some cases, we get over 800 viewings a month from our library. So that's, again, a benefit of your membership. So without further ado, thank you all for your attention. And now I'm going to turn it over to Jeannie Scott, our Energizer Bunny Activities Chair and the choreographer of today's open house.
Good morning, everyone. And when Steve Alphons mentions how, did I already mess it up? I try not to touch anything. How do I advance? Next one. Okay. When people ask, how did I get so enthusiastic about Osher? Well, I had the great privilege of meeting Bernard Osher, who you saw the video on. And you only need to be around him for a matter of seconds before it becomes very infectious. And I will have the privilege of seeing him again in a few months. So I'm very excited to learn what's new and what he has, his new vision. As activities chair, I have the fun task of organizing on and off campus events that bring Osher members together in casual settings. These include field trips, catered on-campus lunches, interactive events with the international students with whom we share this beautiful building, receptions at the Saturday afternoon Theater World performances, treats served at special lectures and Sunday night dining around the world dinners. These events, much like the lectures, will either be announced in the Friday class schedule or they will be sent out by a special email. Most events require a fee and attendance is limited by the venue. We've had some really fun events held in the past year. At the most recent annual December holiday and recognition luncheon, we played a fun game of Who Did This, viewed a video recap of the past year, and honored 3 members who have made exceptional contributions to Osher. In October, we enjoyed a festive joint Halloween party and costume contest with the international students. And I am proud to report that our Osher members won many prizes and enjoyed singing songs such as Sweet Caroline. With the foreign students, this was a heartwarming event of bringing together 2 generations of UCSD students. Field trips in the past year included the California Highway Patrol Dispatch Center and a backstage tour of the Old Globe Theaters. We served a lot of cookies at Theater World performances, a lot of popcorn at movies, served ice cream cake just for the fun of it, had a lively pizza luncheon and a yummy gourmet sandwich event. A true member favorite is the Dining Around the World Sunday gatherings organized by our dedicated Osher foodies and held at a local restaurant every 6 weeks or so. We will start the winter quarter with several fun events that are shown on the screen that I'm trying not to touch. The first Dining Around the World is on Sunday, January 12th at Cafe Athena in Pacific Beach. If you plan on joining Osher this week and want to attend this dinner, please stop by the activities table and put your name and email on the list. The information will be passed on to the dining committee and you will receive a reservation confirmation. On Thursday, January 16th at noon, we will host a special new members only luncheon where you will have a chance to meet your peers and learn about their history. Please watch for the sign up in the upcoming Friday class schedule and reservations are required. Osher members, Steve and I have a little dispute on this, are indeed UCSD students. And on Thursday, January 23rd, we will show our school spirit by attending the UCSD and UC Santa Barbara basketball Spirit Night game. Our team is having a wonderful season and we are 12-2. And we will all be seated together. Tickets are $10 each and you are welcome to bring guests. Watch for the ticket purchase link in the upcoming email. We've purchased 50 tickets and I know we've sold quite a few of those already. So please watch for that email if you're interested. On January 24th, enjoy a historic guided walking tour of the Mission Trails Regional Park by Richard Carrico, a lecturer at the Department of Indian Studies at San Diego State University, followed by a no-host lunch at DZ Aikens. Reservation information will be released next week. On Friday, February 28th, join your peers to hear renowned author Mitch Albom speak about his book, The Little Liar, at the 2025 Writers Symposium by the Sea at Point Loma Nazarene College. Look for registration in next week's email. And mark your calendars for the first full member catered on-campus luncheon between the morning and afternoon classes on Tuesday, February 18th. Other field trips are in the planning and will be announced as they are confirmed. Finally, as mentioned by our previous speakers, I would strongly encourage you to pack a brown bag lunch and plan on spending the day here. Lunch tables will be set up at the back of the classroom, or occasionally we will meet in the conference room. I can guarantee you there will be laughter, serious conversations, and the opportunity to learn what you have in common with the other members. It is now my pleasure to introduce the coordinator of the award-winning Osher Theater World Troupe and recent holiday luncheon honoree, Courtney Flanagan.
Now, am I supposed to touch this thing or not? I don't really understand. But anyway, I'm Courtney Flanagan and I am coordinator of the theater program. So I want to tell you a few things about it. We also have a table out there. So if you're interested in participating in any way, through acting, through improv, through helping behind the scenes, we have some great people that have helped us behind the scenes. Come to our table. It's very obvious. We have 3 huge signs with all of our gorgeous pictures on them. Sign a sheet and leave us your information. And I also have a sheet there printed, all the things that are happening for theater in the winter quarter. So I don't have to talk about everything. But I would like to say a couple of things. One is about improv. As Jeannie said, we do consider ourselves award-winning because some of our improv group, this is the shirt. Some of our improv guys performed at the Mockingbird Theater in Liberty Station. We had to be in sort of a contest and compete against another improv group for 3 weeks in a row. First, they said it was 2 weeks, and then we won after 2 weeks. They said, oh, no, it has to be 3 weeks. So anyway, we won. After 3 weeks, we won this award 3 times, and then they offered us a residency, and we actually just finished the residency. It was 5 Sundays, ending at December 29th. We had a lot of fun, and once we got to the residency, it wasn't a competition. We just got to do our thing with other groups. So we're very proud of ourselves because we ain't no spring chickens, but we do pretty well, and we've done really well with that. And we'll continue to do what is called long form improv. That's what this was, meaning it's an extended improv over 20 minutes or so. But we also do short form improv, and we do that at various senior living places. We do it here at Osher. We did it at a wine cellar once, which is very nice because we did it 3 times and people could drink wine while they were watching, and it made us look even better. So that was very fun, but you also can do this, all right? And we have people in our improv group. I don't think any of them are here today, but we have people who are over 90 who are improvising with us. So don't say I'm too old, baloney, okay? And the other thing about the improv is we have several classes. You will see this on the calendar. You will also see it on our sheet. It's not consecutive though. So, you know, you don't have to come every time. You can look at your calendar and say, oh, I'm really free this day, and you'll give it a try. Fine, come. Now, we also do shows. You do not have to be in the show to participate in the improv. You could say, I really want to do it, but I don't think I want to do a show. That's fine, all right? Or you can participate and say, I do want to do in the show. And we try to get you ready to do a show as soon as possible if that's your bag, okay? And the only thing about it is, if, for example, we have a show coming up at Casa Mañana, if any of you happen to live there, on January 24th, well, if you're going to do the show, then you have to go to the improv class before, obviously, because we have to decide what we're going to do, because we improvise, but we don't improvise the calendar, the schedule of things we do at the show. So you would have to come. But other than that, you can come at any improv class. Also, if you're into acting, we have several, we're going to do a show, I think it's on the sheet somewhere, Middle School Issues. And actually, it's a very interesting play. And although Steve always says, this is the non-academic side of Osher, I would disagree with that. There are definitely academic connections. For example, this show, Middle School Issues, is basically, it's written by a former judge who used to live at the V, Judge Sorokin. He did a lot of plays on legal issues. This play is about a legal issue. We hope a lot of you will come. It's in January. It's on the schedule. It's on your calendar. And also next week, on January 13th and 14th, if you're female, sorry guys, but this is just for ladies, we are doing a play called Love, Loss, and What They Wore that is all monologues from different women. And if you're interested and would like to give a try being in a play, then please come to the auditions. They're 13th and 14th, 1 to 2:30 either day here. It's in the calendar. We hope to see you. And the other thing I want to plug is that in June, we're going to do the musical Working. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's not the most famous musical in the world, but it's based on Studs Terkel's book, Working, okay? The jobs that people do and how they feel about it. And there was a musical that was on Broadway. We're doing it in June. And if you have any interest in being in a musical, please email me, get a sheet. My email's on there. Let me know, because we're going to have auditions for that musical very soon. The other thing I want to plug is on February 12th, 2 days before Valentine's Day, we're going to have a special Valentine's show at 1 o'clock. And it's going to feature people doing poems, people singing songs. We've had a lot of interesting people sign up to do material. One member, who's a fairly new member, is doing poems written by her father, who is 99 and just started writing poetry. So it's a real mix, and we have some great music coming. We also are going to have, after that, I'm going to give a special person up here to really plug that. First of all you guys in the back that are doing Osher, wave your hand. See all these lovely people? So if you have further, Herb, put your hand, okay. So if you have any questions about it, come to our table or ask any of these people. But after the show, which probably be like a 45-minute show. First of all, if you're interested in doing something for this Valentine's show, you have a song you'd like to sing, you have a poem you'd like to read, or you don't really have anything, but you'd be really interested in participating, it's kind of like a talent show, right? Email me and say, I want to be in it. All right, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I want to be in it, and I'll try to find you something. And we're going to have a rehearsal, let's say a get-together on February 3rd. That's also in the calendar, where we'll talk about what we're going to do. But after the show, like I say, it's about 45 minutes, we're going to have something really cool. We're going to have a poetry workshop. So if you think, I need to give something special on Valentine's Day to a person I love, and by God, it would be great to write him a poem, but I don't know how to do it. You can come to this workshop and we can help you do it. Katie is going to lead this, and she's going to tell you a little bit about the poetry workshop on February 12th.
Thank you so much, Courtney. I was just in a workshop with Courtney yesterday, and she has 41 years of experience teaching theater in this community, and she's a very important person in San Diego, and I'm just so honored to be working with her. Yes. I'm Katie. I'm working on my PhD in the psychology of creativity and innovation. And there is no doubt that doing creative work as you get older, and any time in your life really, is really helpful for keeping those brain cells alive and connected with your body and all kinds of wonderful things. And the poetry workshop on the 12th of February is just exactly that kind of activity. You do not have to have any experience coming to do the workshop. I'm going to provide many different modalities of finding your words, plus some visuals in case you need to draw in order to find your words. I have training in this and in leading poetry workshops. Not necessarily, that would be free form in a lot of cases, but it depends on you. I'd like to welcome everyone. We want to really welcome anyone who would like to try. And what I'm hoping will happen is that by the end of, from about 2 to 3:30, we'll be working. And the last half hour is I'm hoping people will be reading for the little group, just some of their poetry, people who feel like they would like to do that. So and it's all going to be poetry that we write on the day. So that's earlier in the day, if you have something pre-prepared, that's for that. But this is a spontaneous event, so. No, you don't have to sign up. No, you don't have to sign up. You can appear. We're going to have writing materials and art supplies with pre-cut hearts and such. Okay, I'm not talking about like something you would do in first grade, although that's okay. Uh, We have to start somewhere, come on. But I think, I just hope if you think you might want to do it, come talk to me or give it a try. We create a safe atmosphere, no judgment, and some beautiful, beautiful things come out of these workshops. I can tell you, I've been incredibly moved as a facilitator for the kinds of things that come out, and it's all for the benefit of our souls, which we need right now. So thank you very much.
So this is a photo of Park and Market, a new iconic building that's the first UCSD building in downtown San Diego. It's 2 blocks north. It's in the East Village. It's 2 blocks north of the Central Library and 3 blocks north of Petco Park. It's run by the Division of Extended Studies, which I've also mentioned runs the Osher program. This new building features a 225-seat performing arts and lecture theater, a movie theater, outdoor amphitheater, and the Census Bistro where you can get a bite to eat. It houses several campus departments and many downtown civic improvement organizations. Park and Market is easily accessible on the Blue Line trolley that stops right across from the building. Occasionally, Osher holds its programs down there. So I hope you will look into their Park and Market website. Okay. No. This is an exciting slide for me because there's lots of different things that you can do that are not Osher related, but are UCSD related. By joining Osher, you become a part of the larger community of UC San Diego. Although you're not technically a matriculated student, there are many campus and on-campus events such as music and lectures going on all the time that you can attend, many free of charge. You can find out about these events by signing up for their emails or going on the website, a few of which are listed here. I won't go over them now, but you can use the Geisel Library. You can take the UCSD buses with your Osher One card, and you will receive this Osher One card when you join. This entitles you to many, many benefits. This is the old card, which we old timers like, but the new card looks like this. To find out more about these websites and other benefits, you can scan the QR code that's available at the non-Osher events table after this presentation. It's right outside the building, outside the room here. And you can talk to our volunteers who will be staffing that table. So why should you join Osher? For intellectual stimulation and enrichment, you've heard about our many classes that we have here, our theater world, our activities. For our give and take discussion groups, Q&A with our speakers, for social interactions on field trips, luncheons, and the Osher Dining Group. My wife and I have made many lifelong friends here at Osher. Perhaps you'll connect with someone from your hometown, or your college, or your neighborhood here in San Diego. And hopefully, if you have the time, you'll give back to the Osher program by volunteering. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Ed Abeda, Associate Dean of the Division of Extended Studies and the head of our Osher program here.
Well, welcome, everybody. I got to tell you, since moving into our new building, there's a lot of ways to get information out to our community. You can telegraph, telephone, or tell an Osher member. Before we get into any remarks, I just want to take a pause and thank our volunteers and our advisory council because way too much credit for me to lead this organization. I'm just a custodian of a framework that's been here for years. The backbone of this organization was volunteer-led. It's been driving very, very well. And this last year has been a transformation in terms of a new location, new expectations, and frankly, with my view, a world-class exemplar among Oshers around the country. Now, we're very rare at DES, Division of Extended Studies, because we don't just specialize in adult learning. We call ourselves lifelong learning, but most around the country start that kind of concept around 25 years old. We are the founders of year-round pre-college, all the way from early childhood education to Osher, or as I call, we specialize in lifelong learning from twinkle to wrinkle. You just happen to be a little bit in the wrinkle part, so I'll work on that. Or I heard themes about chickens and other things that were coming along, but ironically, we have a sun god here too as a chicken, so we'll keep on that theme for a while. But most importantly, I want to thank our advisory council because they help shape the concepts and needs that are really based on two things. It's about the left brain and right brain. There's the left brain, which is well documented here. We talk about that linear focus problem solving. The left brain is by design solving problems. Some call that the heavy duty STEAM, the hard sciences we call on campus. But then there's the right side, and Courtney and the rest of the theater world spirited group, well, they bring in the right brain. It's the messy design and the fun parts that really come. You pull them together, and that right brain, left brain makes the experiences that I look to Jeannie, and you can't ask for a better person to not only look at the curriculum, but the overall experience. UC San Diego is built on being world-class, not just in knowledge, but connecting and debating issues that are prevalent more than ever right here. This is the epicenter of sharing knowledge, debating, and trust me, one thing I've learned about Osher members, they have a lot of opinions. And we get them a lot. As you go through here, we welcome your opinions, your experience, your ideas. We're so proud to have this magnificent building that's brand new. And this is the first time I haven't heard the most overwhelming things about the four-letter parking. Sorry, can't solve that one yet, but we have solved a lot of others, and we welcome you to continue to spread the word about this great place. We mentioned the downtown center. David actually mentioned the Park and Market, but he didn't mention, because he's too humble, about an entire theater auditorium called the Guggenheim Theater, named after him and Claire. So I just want to thank you again for those contributions. Well, my wife always tells me, stop talking and don't wear out your welcome. She also says, how can I miss you if you won't go away? I'll stop that. I want to introduce you to somebody that single-handedly had put a lot of time and thought working with our advisory council on organizing, planning, coordinating all the logistics today. She solely is responsible, along with the advisory council and volunteers, along with the folks that I want to mention, that from the moment they guided you into park to getting here. I want to introduce the person really taking lead on this. Come on up, Maya Prunty.
Hello, everyone. My name is Maya. I'm the program manager here at Osher. And I wanted to start by talking about the membership fees and about joining Osher. We have a few different membership options that you can choose from. The first one is our prorated annual membership for $300. And this will give you access to all of our classes, both online and on campus, plus the video library starting on January 6th when our winter quarter begins, all the way through the end of August when our summer quarter ends. So it will include access to our winter, spring, and summer quarters. Our next membership option is our quarterly membership. For $190, this membership is similar to the annual prorated membership, in which it will give you access to all of our classes, both on campus and online, and our video library. This membership is only for the winter quarter, so it will be good from January 6th all the way to March 14th. With both of these memberships, you are required to have a UCSD one-card ID card to validate your Osher membership, and so that we can also learn your name. This is included with your membership fee, and I'll talk about this more in just a few moments. Our last membership option is our online affiliate membership. This includes access to our online video library only. It's an annual $50 fee, and it will last you for 12 months. and it's only the participation of online lectures and seminars, the participation in online seminars and lectures is not included. To register for these memberships, you can visit our Osher website, which is on this page right here. We will be sending you a copy of this presentation after today, so please be on the lookout for that. You can also call Extension Student Services at the number provided. And you can also sign up today in person, either online in the conference room or with check or cash at Student Services. Moving on to Student Services is a wonderful team and they're always here to help you. They can help you with online services, enrollment services, your password reset, and online resources. This is where you will take your picture for your student ID card and pick it up once it's ready. And they're also available to help you with general questions. Their location is on the far south wall of this building, directly across from the Osher office, and they're here just conveniently on the 3rd floor. So moving on, I will now like to share with you the member testimonial video. This is a wonderful video, so I invite you to sit back and enjoy the video.
I first learned about Osher Lifelong Learning Institute many years ago because I'm a longtime San Diego La Jolla resident. I was invited to give talks to Osher perhaps once a year or so over 30 years before I finally retired, recognized that it had an ideal program to maintain intellectual activity.
I learned about Osher Lifelong Learning Institute probably in the mid to late 90s while I was still working, because somebody told me that they had a friend that was a member. They weren't a member, but they had a friend that was a member who really enjoyed it, and I thought, when I retire, that sounds like a great thing to do.
There are two things that intrigued me about joining Osher. One was the very broad spectrum of topics that were covered by really excellent speakers. And the second thing was the membership, just a group of people who, by definition, shared my interests when I showed up for topics of my interest.
The opportunity to learn different things. Most of us have a career where where we're kind of focused. And even though we try to diversify in one way or another, I felt like it was an opportunity as I looked at the program to learn about different fields of intellectual endeavor that I didn't really know anything about. It's opened some areas of knowledge that I didn't know too much about before. My background is not really very scientific, and I find that even if I go to a lecture that I'm not intellectually or educationally prepared for, I always walk away with something.
My undergraduate experience had a variety of different disciplines and exposures, which were great, but then it narrowed down very quickly. And it was just terrific to be able to expand out again.
In addition to our lecture classes, we have classes that you can actually participate in. We have writing classes, we have classes where we have book discussions. One of the programs that a lot of people enjoy here is called Theater World. And there are lots of things you can do if you have any interest at all in participating in something that brings joy to all of the people who come to the productions and all the people who are in the productions.
Osher has a number of special events. I think the ones we enjoy most are simply socializing together over lunch, particularly if we decide we're going to attend both a morning and an afternoon session, and we'll be here for lunch.
The Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at the University of California, San Diego truly has something for everybody. We hope you'll give it a try.
All right, I love that video. I want to watch it again so much. I love it. All right, so moving on to questions. We have a few floating microphones that are going around the room. So if you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand. I'll do my best to answer them.
Questions about anything today? Josh, you got one? You have a microphone?
Are we able to audit UCSD classes like we used to in the past?
Unfortunately, we are not able to audit any classes at the moment, but we are working towards figuring out a way to find a solution for that.
Yes, the membership slide you showed said you need a UCSD one card ID. How do you get those?
Yeah, so Student Services is a great resource for that. You'll be able to take your picture with them. Again, they're located just on this far south wall. You'll be able to take your picture, and then in about a week, you'll be able to pick up your one card. You could also upload your photo online too if you have a passport styled photo.
Good morning. I have a parking question.
Oh no, okay.
So if you come to attend, let's say, an afternoon class, this structure, are you able to go to -1 again like we were and just zip in, or how does that work as far as parking?
So are you saying if you already attended a class on
No, I'm
campus?
saying if you decide to come and you want to park your car, where do you park?
Oh, great question. So our Osher members do receive a discount Osher code. So it will be $6 for the entire day. And you'll be parking on a student space. There are spaces marked with an S. That nearest space is in the very bottom level of the parking garage, which is sub-level 2 or -2. And you're able to park there.
So to expand a little bit on that, parking here is all virtual. There are no paper passes. So you need to upload Park Mobile application to your smartphone. Easy to do. You enter your license plate and a credit card for payment. And if you choose to come park, as Maya said, it's $6 a day for the Osher student parking pass. Now, it takes sometimes 5 or 6 days for you, after you register, to get in the system. So you would then use the visitor code, which is 8980. And it varies between $2.50 and $3 an hour, and you can park for the afternoon. But yeah, the code for visitor is 8980, and that's again, Park Mobile on your smartphone. And the code for the student parking is 47450. Did we give a handout on parking today? I don't remember.
You will receive a handout with a copy of this slide after the
Yeah,
presentation's
should give
over.
a handout which explains all of that information to you. Parking has been historically a challenge, but thanks to the work of Ed Abeta and others, we've seen to have it under control. Bob, you have a question?
We do have a bike rack located outside of the building, facing the building. It's on the left side, and that's where you'll be able to walk your bike at.
Handicap parking, there are designated spaces on the level 1, but you can park anywhere on UC campus with a placard, and any space is not reserved or allocated to service trucks or something like that. And you can park in any space in this building that's not marked reserved. For free, by the way. One of the last universities of California systems where it's free. Go ahead, sir. Now,
Does the UCSD one card ID, is that useful on the main camp, on the rest of the campus for student, faculty, staff events?
For certain events, you can use it for a discounted ticket, but not all events. It just depends on the event that you're choosing to go to.
Also, the card can be used some places in town if you get a discount at the, what's the food market over at UTC? What's it called? I've forgotten the name of it, but you can get a discount there. And other places will give you a student discount. That does not include the La Jolla Symphony and Chorus, however. Their student discount
stops at age 34.
And to answer your question, you can also look on the non-Osher event links, and sometimes they'll have student discounts and you're able to contact those offices directly. You're welcome.
Actually, my question, I'm just browsing. Are there any evening classes or are these all daytime classes?
All daytime classes as of now.